You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming. Somebody on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Kingsguard. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Give me one moment, y'all. Yep, okay, it's working. Just wanted to make sure, y'all. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump back in, shall we? Okay. There's just like no music or sound or anything right now. Your eyes finally moved down, and you had a full frontal view of what you really wanted to see. For a few seconds, you just kind of stared in a daze. It was certainly impressive, likely would have turned heads and brought about gossip among many of the workers at Rose's Cathedral. Even some of the patrons would probably have paid top dollar for just a 30-minute session. Jake? He looked up. He was staring down at you quizzically. Koshiro stood frozen as you looked right at him. Your face must have become as red as a burning coal. I'm sorry! You turned your head back around and looked straight down into the water, though you could still see everything in the reflection. I didn't mean to stare. I'm sorry. It was my fault. I should have been more careful. I'll just go. No. It was an accident. Yeah, an accident. Jake, are you sure? I was just taken a bit by surprise. By your scars, I mean. I never expected you to have so many. Koshiro moved to the water's edge and dipped his toes in. There was a small wake once he entered, and he gasped as he got used to the temperature. Once he was comfortably seated, you finally found the courage to look at him, but you were still drawn to the scars. He once again caught you staring, and you moved your eyes elsewhere. They're hideous, aren't they? No. I can't speak for others, but I kind of like them. Kind of like a unique tattoo with a story behind them. You think so? Yeah, if you ever wanted to talk about them, I would love to hear about it. I don't really know much about you anyway, so they seem like a great conversation starter. It kind of makes us like buddies, seeing as we both have one. You stared at him through the reflection of the water as he lifted a hand up and rubbed his neck. While it was difficult to read his reaction, and even more so that he had the mask on, you could tell that he seemed quite pleased with what you said. You think you might have just saved yourself. He kept his eyes closed and rested his head back on the rock. Just pretend like nothing happened. So, how about the water? Feels great, right? Yes. It feels like ages since I last had a warm bath. This one in particular stays heated all year long, even during the winter time. I've heard there are quite a few of these natural outdoor hot springs all over the Torvere, though this is the only one I've actually been to. Just where exactly have you traveled, by the way? I know that you've always been out and about around the castle, but what sort of places have you seen? I know Leandros has been all around Yasan, even to the Red Sea, but I don't know much about you at all. That is, if you don't mind me asking. Well, I certainly haven't been as well traveled as Leandros. Other than being here, the furthest I really ever venture is a few hundred miles outside the city walls. You never really went anywhere? I'm your father's guardian. I had to stay close as a precaution, so I never ventured out far. But it seems like you know so much about the world. I only know so much because we have many agents from our village exchanging information with one another. You mean like those birds, like the one I saw on the ship? Yeah. Koshiro looked to the side. It seemed like he really wasn't going to utter a word about them. If it seems like I know so much, it is only because I receive news on a daily basis. It is necessary to ensure that your lives and the lives of the citizens are not in danger, and if so, we can act accordingly. Huh. I always thought you were a walking encyclopedia, like Meister Corello. I'm not nearly as knowledgeable as him. He looked upwards into the sky and wondered just how he might have been doing by now. There were a lot of people you were still worried about. Leandros, Marilyn, Esther, even Ramos, but you had no way of finding out if they were all right. As much as I hated those lessons in his quizzes, and all the books he made me read, I am starting to miss it. Perhaps my life wasn't the most pleasant, but it was peaceful, and I never had to worry about a thing. I really hope he's okay. I really hope a lot of people are still okay. From what our scouts have observed, the capital seems to be doing fine. The initial attacks have died down, and order has been restored, at least for now. Reconstruction projects of buildings and home have gone underway, and there is currently an effort to help those in the most dire of need. Everyone is doing their part to recover, and we haven't caught word of any suspicious activity, so we've been able to focus on other tasks. One second, y'all. Devices. One second, y'all. Give me a moment. Let me delete this real quick. Little back end work over here. Uninstall. There we go. Alrighty. Alright. Okay, let's do it. Alright. Sorry about that, y'all. So we've been able to focus on other tasks. If you want, I could see about asking for a search to find out if Corello is still doing alright. You can? You stood straight up in the water, excited by the news about it, but as Koshiro started to turn his head back in your direction, you quickly ducked back down. You were still trying to get used to the fact that you had nothing on. Bathing with others was something you might have you might have to get used to, at least while you were here. We have already sent out a party to find Marilyn and Esther, and we are keeping watch out for Leandros as well. If he didn't leave the capital, there is likely a chance that we may find him. That would be great if you could. I feel like I've already lost enough people who are important to me. I'm sure that he is doing all right. Who knows? He might already have a pile of homework, books, and tests just waiting to be delivered to you. On second thought, perhaps you can let him know I'm at the bottom of the ocean. If we do find him, you can write a letter and we'll deliver it to him. That's a handy service you got going on here. Couriers, informants, spies, protectors. Is there anything you guys don't do? We are here to serve. Everything we do for Yasan. Well, at least I can rest a bit easier knowing that all hell didn't break loose around the city. That attack may have shaken us, but it will take more than that to bring us down. Your father worked tirelessly to make Yasan into the powerful nation it is today, and we will see to it that it stays that way. Which is why I will be leaving soon. You're going already? I still have my own part to play in this. You do remember what it is that you ordered of me, don't you? The talks of reinforcements with Brahm. Our enemies won't stop at that. The assassination was just the start, and we still see signs of war on the horizon. All the help we can get was your purpose. I want to do my part to keep you safe as well. When will you be leaving, then? I'm hoping for the day after tomorrow, at sunrise. So then where will I be staying in the meantime? Esther and Marilyn are still missing, and I don't think holding up in their home would be the best idea anymore. Actually, I already had a talk with the Elder about this before you had arrived, in the off chance that we did find you. We both agreed that it would be better for you to stay here until things have calmed down. We are hidden from the world, and those assassins would never be able to find you. I don't think there is a place in the world that would be safer for you than here. So far, it seems to be a relatively peaceful place, a bit unnerving when I first arrived, but I can agree. The villagers here, I think they really would take good care of you, not just because you are king. That's good to know, just as long as Hyosuke stays far away. I'll let the Elder know. I'm sure he'll be more than willing to give you a bodyguard who isn't Hyosuke this time. That's a relief. So, I know this might not be the best time to bring this up, but what was the deal with that wolf? You mean Hyosuke? Yeah, that is if you don't mind talking. Even with Koshiro's mask on, you could tell it was still a sensitive topic for him. He looked back towards the door worriedly, but there was no one there. I suppose there was no harm in telling you. It might be better if you knew more about him. Hyosuke is the son of the late Elder Noboro. Perhaps you may have heard of him. Noboro? No, not that I can recall. Perhaps you were still too young to remember him, but he used to visit the castle quite often. What did he look like? Maybe I might remember if you give me some details. It's been so long since I last saw him. I suppose an older Hyosuke would make more sense. He had thick black and gray fur and a scowl across his face. I believe I remember he had a distinct scar across his left eye and forehead. Still not ringing any bells. Sounds like someone I'd be frightened of as a child. His face betrayed his true self. He was kind and beloved by all the villagers. He was even kind to someone like me. Someone like you? What I meant to say is that he was different from Hyosuke. Sure, he looked quite scary, but he was gentle and always cared about others' safety over his own. He was all that we aspired to be, and everyone obeyed him without question. Even Hyosuke was different when he was around. But Seshiro's the elder now. Did he retire or something? He died in battle. How? I was much too young to be told anything. Seshiro came back with his body, and the entire village was silent for days after his burial. All that I was told was that he died honorably in battle. Imagine Hyosuke must not have taken the news of his father's death very well. No. Noburo was all that Hyosuke had left. There was no one in the village who loved him more than his son. During the infrequent times that he was able to actually visit the village, he was seen training Hyosuke, readying him for leadership. He was to become the next elder? That was what Noburo wanted. Even Seshiro agreed. He almost seemed to be staking his entire being on it. He had a lot of hope for his son, and I think a lot of the villagers did too as well for a time. He was very gifted, and many could see why. He had strength, quick wits, speed. He was able to take down some adults who were twice his size. He was shaping up to be an excellent elder even for his age. But with Noburo's death, it all changed. He became more agitated by everything and everyone. More than on one occasion he tried to run away, but was always brought back. To say that his father's death affected him would be an understatement. He became a completely different person. The village quickly lost faith and trust in him, and soon he was no longer deemed fit to become elder. Seshiro might have been the only person left to genuinely care for him, but despite that, his feelings were unrequited. Hyosuke seemed to hate Seshiro the most. He likely blamed Seshiro for his father's death. He was just like you. In the after event of your father's death, all seemed lost, and someone had to take the blame. Koshiro was just like Seshiro, a convenient target to vent your frustration. Damn it, must have looked like Seshiro was taking everything away. His father, his future. It didn't help that Seshiro remained silent over the details of Noburo's death. Hyosuke eventually became convinced that he killed him out of spite. Then when Seshiro was announced as the next leader, Koshiro started to shiver, though you could tell that it wasn't because he was cold. It almost seemed like he was forcing himself to tell you this. You don't have to say anymore. I think I understand now. If he was so looking forward to becoming elder and with everything that had happened to him, I can sort of see why he became like he is now. I really like that I had people around me who supported me, made me right my wrongs. Without them, I too might have become like him. Hyosuke is a lot like me. No! He is nothing like you! Koshiro was getting riled up once more. This time he was the one that stood in the bath. But you possess a kind soul and wish nothing but for the well-being of others. You two are nothing alike. Your eyes glazed down at his shaking member, and Koshiro quickly sat back down. Oh. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon or our YouTube memberships if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!